I want to go over some of the changes in the Insert Node tool in 2021 Release 2. We've made some changes to the Insert Node in the Drainage and Utilities. So I'll go ahead and bring that up. Um, Now, previously, when you worked with the Insert Node, you were prompted for elevation. So for example, I was prompted for the elevation of the top of a node. So in this case, we're using a manhole. And I'm just going to insert a manhole up along this inside this conduit. And so I select my reference element for node elevation. That'd be the top of the manhole. So I'll just use this terrain. And then it wants the conduit for the invert. So I select the conduit that I'm going to insert it, and if I want to split it or not. And I'll just go ahead and split it, and then I'll slide it along that conduit and then place it. And so it'll insert that node in there. And you can see it here in the 3D view. So it put that node in there, and because the node has a top elevation point and an invert elevation point, it makes sense to prompt you for those. But when the cases where it didn't, we were still prompting you for the elevation reference, and really you were just putting something at the level of the pipe. So let me show you what happens now. If I were to choose a feature definition that only has one elevation point, um, if for example, cross section as an example, if I pick one of these, notice how the dialog changes and the elevation um, is no longer, populated. We hide some of that information and our prompt changes. So we're just telling you to select the conduit invert reference. So you only have one elevation reference in your cell. There's no point in prompting you for a top elevation or ground elevation for that. And so anytime you pick a feature definition that has one cell and that cell has one elevation point, here's another one, transition for example, we're not going to prompt you for multiple elevations. And it was a little bit confusing before. So in this case, I would simply just, for example, select the conduit, and I'll split it, and then I can, slide that to where I want it and place it in the conduit. So we're no longer asking you for the elevation for a surface. And so if I zoom back out a little bit, um, place something like that. So that would work the same with any kind of gas, water lines, anything you're placing along the gas line or the water line valves, T's and joints and stuff like that. So hopefully that clears that up a little bit and makes it a little bit cleaner as you step through the prompts.